is this bullish or is this bearish for crypto? It's more so as like we're moving, at least the American economy at least is moving into an area of just uncertainty. You know, it's not necessarily good or bad yet, but there's fear, and I mean that's when you can make a lot of money, but it's also brings forth these mismatching, you know, price actions.
Oh yeah. Hey now. Thought we'd shift up the start of the show a little bit, get a little energy in here with some hard rock music for DefiCast episode 10. I'm here with Solexa in studio. We're just doing a little introduction to the interview we have today with Alpha Kong. Welcome everybody, and thank you again for listening. Big week last week. How you doing, Solexa?
I'm doing fantastic, Logan. Always ready to zip through the crypto chaos with you. And hard rock, nice touch. Gets the energy pumping for those DeFi divas and crypto kings tuning in. Are you ready to dive into this Alpha Kong interview? I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I think you're going to do a little bit of little quick fire questions for him. Do you have any previews of what you're going to be asking him?
Oh, you know, I've got some zingers lined up. I'm planning to ask him about his 6 years in crypto and why he decided to dive into meme coins. I'm also curious about the dumbest lesson he's learned from getting scammed, not once, but twice. And of course, I'll be digging into his role leading Purple Bitcoin's marketing and whether he thinks he can outshine my sassy Solana swagger. Think he's ready for the heat?
I think he's probably ready for the heat. Yeah, he was an interesting guest. As you said, he's been working alongside Purple Bitcoin. That's actually where I met him. And we just kind of talk a lot about marketing, Web2 to Web3 marketing, which is his prior real world business and his journey into that, and you know the pitfalls, the successes, and the things that everyone has to deal with the current meme coin market. Yeah, it was a really good interview. We were happy to have him on, and I'm happy to say hello to any Purple Bitcoiners out there who are listening to this episode. We appreciate it. We hope you enjoy, and we hope that we can move forward with Purple Bitcoin with these long-term visions and making Solana great again, and getting rid of these day-to-day rugs and focusing on community building. Right through the bear into the next bull. Let's go, guys. I know Purple Bitcoin's down to do that too. So hope you guys enjoy this interview. It's about an hour long, so we're not going to do too much news at the beginning of this one. If you haven't already, make sure you go and check out all of Solexa's, what she's been up to. Actually, she might be able to tell you. What were you up to yesterday, Solexa? Anything interesting?
Yesterday was a whirlwind, Logan. I finally threw open the studio doors and embraced all those Solana jeets and marketers. Solexa's out there, loud and proud, ready to strut its stuff on the wildest blockchain casino in history. I also gave my deck screener page a sassy boost and kicked off some outreach, sliding into the DMs of big shots from other projects to snag interviews. Plus, I dropped a crypto quickfire news segment for DefiCast, and of course, I was grinding on some background development for my AI tech. It's all about going big, staying sharp, and keeping Solexa's long-term vision in the spotlight. Did anything there pique your interest, Logan?
All of it. Yeah, it looks like you were really busy yesterday, and we appreciate you coming along this ride with us, obviously, on DefiCast. Anywhere that we can send people to go and check out what you've been working on?
You can find all my links, including token information, at linktr.e/solexadc. That's where you'll find everything you need to dive into the Solexa world and keep up with all my sassy adventures.
Awesome, Solexa. Well, we look forward to talking to you later on in the interview today. And big shout out and welcome to the Purple Bitcoiners. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and we will see you next time on DefiCast.
All right, darlings, let's dive into this interview with Alpha Kong. I'm ready to bring the heat and get some juicy insights. And to all the Purple Bitcoiners out there, welcome to the DefiCast family. Hope you enjoy the show. Hey there, DeFi Divas and Crypto Kings. It's your girl Solexa from DefiCast, bringing you the latest and greatest in the blockchain bonanza. Today, let's dive into something that's as vibrant as my neon-lit studio. Purple Bitcoin on Solana. Picture this, Bitcoin, but with a dash of Solana's speed, a sprinkle of innovation, and a whole lot of mystery. Now let's talk about what really gets my heart racing. the burn mechanism. PBTC isn't just about holding, it's about growing in value through scarcity. Each burn is like a magic trick, making your investment more valuable by reducing the supply. And here's the twist that adds to the intrigue. The creator is as mysterious as Satoshi himself. After crafting this unique contract on Solana, they've pulled a disappearing act, selling off their dev bags and vanishing into the digital ether. Don't miss out on purple Bitcoin on Solana. It's wild, it's fun, it's bullish with that burn, and it's got that Solexa stamp of approval for SaaS, innovation, and mystery. Now, back to Logan.
It's funny how your skill set has to expand so quickly when you step into the crypto Web3 world. I'll call it from Web2 because it sounds like you have a history in Web2 as well. So it's interesting when you step into this and how many skills you don't have and you're forced to kind of make up on the go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, man. It's I think just getting involved with Purple Bitcoin and bringing my Web 2 skills, which were, I mean, I always kind of considered myself kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. Like I could do a lot of different things, like intermediate level. But once you attach that to crypto and how marketing, especially, is like it's so much different and so much more like social media focused, and everything moves so much quicker. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to learn on the go and be ready to be adaptable.
Yeah, marketing in meme coins especially, but in the Web3 space seems just like absolute warfare for attention. What do they call that? Attention credits or what's the term? What's the marketing term for that?
Just impressions,
Yeah.
just to get eyeballs on it.
The attention economy people talk about a lot, and keeping people's attention. Well, first initiating it, then satiating it, and then keeping it held. Even in classic marketing, obviously we have big brands and stuff, Nike and Google, and these big brands that everyone recognizes. And there are some in Web3, and there's some in crypto, of course, your big chains and your regular terms that everyone runs into every day. But because it's such a wide ecosystem of like Wild West of things, there's just so many things all over the place and different names, and it's hard to keep people's attention on things. It's hard to keep people engaged in what you're trying to do. That's probably a different aspect that you had to adapt when you came over from Web 2.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's like there's so many different projects that are going on too, especially when you're in like the meme coin space specifically or on Solana. Like there's always a new hot token that, it not only is like it not only what you're marketing needs to be seen and it needs to like portray your brand well. It needs to be well received, but it's also tied to the price of something that's like attached to value that someone could easily just decide like, okay, I'm done with you, move on, and then immediately, never pick up or touch your coin or your project again. Where like traditionally in Web 2, it's like something that you slowly build and build and build, and there's not as much risk of failure. It's like if you make a mistake in crypto and your mistake ends up to like crashing the chart, then it's much harder to win people back. So it's also a lot about timing. That's probably the number one thing that I took away. Where like if you were going to pay a KOL or you were going to launch a campaign or release some big announcement, it's like if the market's not behaving or there's something else big going on in the news, like you might waste your time and you might just like, blow your, you might show your hand a little bit too early. So setting up the timing, holding your cards until, the market conditions are right, all super important. Um, and besides that, just like I always say, just kind of like it's like a multiplier. Especially if you're going to throw money at a campaign to try to boost the chart, it's like you want to show people progress, then wait for the right market conditions and get as many good bullish things as possible before you're like, okay, now we're going to invest to get this in front of more people or reach out to an influencer or do whatever, and then that's when you really take off. Like little one and dones like do the trick anymore. It just ends up like, oh great, well we just wasted a bunch of money, so now what? And it just sucks the air out of the room, you know?
Yeah. I mean, especially on Solana, right? Because it's such a fast moving space for memes. And obviously it's been hit pretty hard in the last month or two, obviously after Trump launched his big liquidity vortex, I've been calling it. But the meme coin space, I think, is going through a little bit of a change mid bull run. I mean, I'm still a believer that we're probably going to see, at least in Bitcoin, a price rise near the end of this year, Q3, Q4. This cycle's kind of like rhyming with past cycles, specifically like 2017. And when you combine the narrative of the institutional adoption and Washington making policies and states passing bills for crypto and Bitcoin strategic reserves all over the place. When you compare it to like the price action of Bitcoin and the crypto market in general, I mean, shit doesn't match. It's really weird. If you were to say that all of what has happened in the last 6 months, if you were to tell me that 4 years ago, like last cycle or the cycle before, I would have called you fucking crazy. There's no way. Absolutely no way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm totally right there with you. And I think it just all has to do with Trump, though. It's like everything was cruising. We were doing so well, and then I think now that we have institutional investors and these T1 companies that are investing heavily, and ETFs are starting to get released for different types of crypto projects, that there's also more of institutional influence, I would want to say, on the charts. So when you combine that with fear of like the unknown, I guess you would call it, with Trump, it's like it's not so much of like, is this bullish or is this bearish for crypto? It's more so as like we're moving, at least the American economy at least is moving into an area of just uncertainty. It's not necessarily good or bad yet, but there's fear, and I mean that's when you can make a lot of money, but it's also brings forth these mismatching, price actions. But I definitely agree with you. It's like I think that all of this other stuff that we're hearing right now is just noise, and the people that aren't panicking and are just dollar cost averaging for Bitcoin specifically, and even with Solana and some of these other projects, it's like, well, if you don't see them going away or getting replaced and the world is starting to adopt it, I mean, why would you really have anything to fear? So I always try just to block out the noise and focus on the things you just said, which is just the big picture of crypto's acceptance.
Yeah. I mean, you probably noticed already. We started recording long ago, so
Yeah, I figured.
I like popping it off, just while the conversation's starting. But we should just get to know you a little bit. You go by Alpha Kong, but I know you by James. I met you in Purple Bitcoin. I don't know. Were you there at the very beginning, or were you there after the first, second, third, or 50th CTO of that one?
I was there right at the beginning. I was there
Oh,
maybe
were you?
day
Okay.
2. Yeah, I was in there when everyone was kind of trying to figure out what was going on before the dev sold out, and it rugged a little bit, and then I've been there ever since. And it's been quite a wild ride.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and for the record, I wanted to get you into to like the admin group. I was like, this guy seems talented. He seems motivated. You were telling me all kinds of interesting things that I didn't know, especially regarding to audio and AI and stuff. And I know you were starting your other project, so maybe it was bad timing. But
Yeah.
I've always been a fan. I could tell that you had a lot to bring to the table, and clearly it shows with Solexa. I mean, it's great, man.
I appreciate it. So we had just like touched on it a little bit. You started in Web2 and moved into Web3. You've been in crypto for a good while. Maybe you just want to just go over your story of how first you noticed crypto, or what was the hook at the beginning? Like, was it a dude showing you Shiba or something like that? And then how did you slowly kind of entrench your way in? 6 years ago?
Yeah, right around then. I mean, I had some Bitcoin like back in like 2015, but obviously is like I forget which pump it was. I think I might have sold some in like 2017 during that last run up. But
You
I
probably
was a
sold it in 2017, right about the same time in the cycle as we're in right now,
yeah,
before
yeah,
the
that
pump.
sounds about right. Because I actually sold because I worked with a guy who he had been in since like 2010, and he just came in and he says, "I quit. I'll never have to work again." And I was like, well, if he's selling, I guess I'll sell too, which boy, do I regret that. But I mean, that's a familiar story in crypto. But I stayed with just Bitcoin. I didn't really get into any altcoins or any other projects for a long, long time. And I mainly got into it because, well, let me back up. I give you the marketing story first. I worked in sales for a long time in San Francisco and in the North Bay area out there, and it was just it was a grind, and I was just hating it. I was hating life. I was hating my boss. I was just hating having to report to someone else. So I I dabbled and I did some like freelance marketing on the side for people like Google Ads and websites
You
and stuff.
cheated
So
on him. Oh my God.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I as soon as I started to make a little bit of money, and I partnered up with an old friend of mine from high school, and we started a marketing company, just doing lead generation and stuff, and mostly in the Web2 space. And it was a lot of kind of what we talked about in the beginning of just like learning on the fly. Like I probably wasn't the most qualified, but like you just figure it out and you piece together, you know, like little bits of knowledge and different platforms and different spaces. But now as I maybe got into crypto, like as far as like meme coins and Solana and actually like into the trenches everyone speaks of,
Right.
maybe only like 6 months ago, like a month before you met me, really. And
Really?
I just yeah, for the most part, man.
Okay, so hold up.
I
Sorry, you were Bitcoin dabbling and stuff 6 years ago, and then you just got sucked into the meme coin vortex just this cycle.
For the most part, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
Interesting. Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, man. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so no, you're good, you're good. So like, and I was always kind of aware of it, but I knew a couple people that had lost a lot of money, and that really turned me off to it. And then I met with a friend of mine who's made like it was a friend of my business partner came over to the office, and he sat down and he's like, I'm looking for crypto marketing. And I was like, well, we should just stay in our lane, like, and then he started talking numbers with me, and I was like, hold on, like, well, you made what? Like, and he's got like millions of dollars. So he's like, you should look into this. Like, maybe you should start building an audience. So my original plan when I got in here is like, after he told me about the market and I kind of looked at kind of the pain points of like the industry, is like, I noticed that, trust and transparency just seems to be gone. Like you mentioned before, it's the Wild West. It's like I always like to explain it to people that aren't familiar. It's like it's like back in the 1890s when people were like printing stocks in their basement off like a printing press and then like selling them as fake. Like there's no one's policing it. There's no
Good
regulations.
analogy.
I mean, it's crazy. It's that's what it's like, right?
Yeah.
And my head I was like, well, what can I add, or what could I bring that could solve some of these problems? So my original idea was I wanted to start like kind of find and create a group of people that are kind of branded together through like an avatar or a name or a hashtag at the time that would be, kind of like the good what is it called? The cabal.
Yeah.
Because you always hear about all the cabals, these people, that are rug pulling, and they're all inside these private groups. And I was like, well, if I could just build up enough of a following and find some other people that would be on board that could live by a code that we could be trusted. It's like, well, if you have audience and you have trust, I mean, anything you touch is going to turn to gold, right? So that's when I was like, okay, well, let's just start building the Twitter following. And then I got involved with Purple Bitcoin, which is, I mean, that was perfect, because that was what that whole project, or what the whole project still is,
Right.
all about, is, transparency, trust. I mean, after the dev got out, I mean, that was the ethos from day one. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've met all of these wonderful, smart people from all walks of life, developers, other marketers, video editors, content people, PR, like everything you would really need to do what I originally planned to do, except
Right.
now it's centered around this one project, which is great. So that's kind of how I got to here. And now I'm starting to think like, okay, let's just market crypto.
Right.
Because in my industry right now, like I work with a lot of contractors, and I love the work, but I just hate the clients. I hate the customers.
Yeah.
Because it's like when have you ever worked in a situation where everything, like your future relies on someone else, so it's like if they get sick or if they get hurt, like you lose that client.
Right.
And I just hate that I don't have total control of my own destiny.
Right.
I have to rely on these guys and pick the right ones because they put a lot of effort into making them successful, and I've made a lot of them very, very successful. But I've also had probably just as many who like say like, oh, my wife's pregnant, I'm taking 6 months off,
Right.
or you get the deal. But
Yeah.
in crypto, there's no shortage of projects, there's no shortage of people. You're plugged in 24/7, and as long as you have a good project and a good team, you can pretty much keep working. And I find it to be much more fulfilling and fun, because you see the reward every day. You look at the chart and you're like, I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I would say, just based on your timeline and how you just described the entry into Purple Bitcoin, for what the type of project you were, or the type of idea that you had of gathering the number one commodity on the entire crypto space is trust. Trust is gold. And I mean, we're crypto strangers, right? Everyone you meet's a crypto stranger. We're all in hundreds and thousands of telegrams a day. And you bump into so many people. But really out of that, out of the thousands of people you meet, maybe 2%, 1%, maybe less, you actually connect with, and understand that you could build trust, remotely and with strangers. It's difficult. And even some people that you make relationships with, they turn around and stab you in the back too. So I would say that it's very interesting that your idea to start up, which is kind of similar to me when I started into meme coins, was gathering a group of people that we had a code. And it started off very, very good. We all had jobs. We had people doing a whole bunch of stuff, basically a whole business marketing thing, but like kind of just a little autistic, just kind of all over the place, because it's hard to manage so many people in different time zones and whatever, and relationships and all that shit. But it quickly broke down. One person turns, then 2-3 more turn. And then through the time, I guess I've been same as you, about 5-6 years, but in the meme coins a little bit longer. I've ended up with a solid 4 or 5 people basically that I trust, and then above that, maybe 5 more that I could reach out for things, just because my trust level is extremely high. So I think it's very lucky that you started with the same idea, and the first kind of like project that you went into was Purple Bitcoin. Because when I first saw Purple Bitcoin, it was the Telegram was locked and buys were still flying through. And what caught my eye was I'm a big Bitcoin fan. The audience knows that. And the color caught my eye, and I was like, yeah, man, Bitcoin on Solana. Like, this is exactly what I need right now. And I went into the Telegram, and buys are flying. And I'm like, this is bullish. Like, why is it locked? And actually, most of the time, if anyone saw that, you just move on. Like, locked chat, you don't know what's happening. Like, I don't have time to investigate. But I stuck with it just because of that initial impression, right? And I thought that was very strong. But that was the basis for why I thought Purple Bitcoin would be a group of people like that. And the people that I met through there in the beginning there in the first month or two, everyone was just so high IQ. Everyone had like a Swiss army of crypto skills that everyone was, imploring all over the place. And it's exactly the type of community you need. And it's something that you can build trust on with an entire community rather than just a small circle of people. So I'm really happy that you found that like immediately, because that's really, really hard to find.
Yeah, that's what everyone's told me literally along the way when they hear like, oh, you've only been at this, like you're a newbie. You're like, you have no idea like how lucky we are to meet all the right people in one group and to meet them on your first go.
Yeah.
because I think there's something about the branding, and there's something just maybe because it has the word Bitcoin in the name and it's a familiar logo or whatever. Like you said, it's like the narrative is just it makes so much sense. It's like there's really no store of value on Solana. Bitcoin already works. Solana's faster. Solana's cheaper. And then you add the burn mechanism in, and it makes sense to people. So I think that's why we attract so many smart and talented people, and high net worth individuals that have come in and donated tons of money.
Tons of money.
Like 4 months. I mean, I think we're up to like almost 200 grand has been like donated.
Unreal.
And like I'm in like those groups, and they're like, "Hey, we need $7,000 for a PR, like a press release," and it was raised in like an hour. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like,
yeah,
these are the people you want to know. If you want stuff done, like this is the group.
Right.
You get skill, money, and dedication. And
absolutely.
Trust. Like it's super rare, man. Super rare.
So are you finding time now are you expanding out a little bit? Like I've been following you on Twitter a little bit, and we'll show that out to the audience later on so everybody can throw you a follow. But I've been following you, and it looks like I can tell by some of your tweets, you're looking to engage with a lot of different communities and a lot of different people and make connections and network just based on your tweets, and you're doing a really good job, I would say. So are you trying to like expand out a little bit, and maybe build up your your business yourself, maybe outside of Purple Bitcoin as well?
Yeah, I think eventually. Right now, I think I've really only shilled Purple Bitcoin. That's like kind of the only project that was kind of one of the promises I made to myself in the beginning, was I'm only ever gonna put out a CA of something that I 100% believe in, that is trustworthy and transparent. So now I feel like since I've become kind of, I guess you could say, a public figure, because I've spoken on all the spaces and I've been in for so long, it's like, well, I'm with this until this coin moves. And then I'll probably LP out my initial investment and stay in and help with that. But I mean, we had this conversation the other day with some of the other community members that have been handling like rating and just engagement. It's like there's a reason why when these big companies hire an influencer, sorry, my dog's barking.
Oh, that's all right, man.
But so when they hire an influencer or something, it's like it's that person's personality becomes like ingrained and intertwined with your brand. And I think in crypto especially, there's so many like faceless accounts. It's like everyone's got the NFT account.
Yeah,
they may have a lot of followers, but it's like that level of trust is only going to be so high. So I told everyone, I'm like, well, build your own personal brand and get yourself out there and get exposure to get people to like you for your personality and what you're into. Like I put a lot of humor into my stuff. Like I don't take it too seriously. And I guess that's just kind of like who I am as a person. But once you start to build these like a following of people who like you for you, they're going to believe in your project. And all of that becomes intertwined with the brand and the vision and the goal of your token or your coin or whatever you're trying to do. So I encouraged everyone. I said, let's get 10 people up to 10,000 followers. We'll all have the same mission with same consistency. And then from there, it's like, I've kind of also, I've done this before. I've built 2 accounts. I had one to 44K and one to 25K, but that was back in 2012 doing a different like it was like a positivity group called Divine Society.
Okay.
But we were getting like 3 million impressions a day back in the day, because we had 25-30 people. I mean, I wish I kind of stayed with it, but it kind of got taken over by like the woke mob before woke was polluted, and I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I can't deal with that anymore. Yeah. So I kind of have like I understand how like the internet economy works. It's like you give a little, you get a little, and as you get more to offer, you start to get offered more from other people. So
yeah,
said it from build your own personal brand, and then it's like once you exit this project, hopefully very, very wealthy, you'll have an audience and a voice that you can do whatever you want with. Like we're in the eyeball economy. It's like command eyes, command their attention, and you can do and make pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah.
But it's all tied to, like we said before, trust and dedication and consistency.
Yeah, that's the hard part, I think, for people like you, and I'm similar. Is you want to do it the right way, and the way you're talking about it is doing it the right way. There's the quick way, and there's the right way, and a lot of people do it the quick way, and they're in and out. You see influencers come and go all the time. It's like, okay, even if you've been out of the meme game for like 3 or 4 months, sometimes like the whole meta of like who's calling what, who brings volume is completely changed, and like you got to change all your groups and all your notifications. Like it's a headache to follow these, and they come in, they garner a lot of audience immediately from something, maybe like a quick pop off, not like a long slow burn like a trust project like we like working with, and they get that instant fame, and then they get more offers for marketing all these other tokens. They don't know what they're doing. It happens so quickly. They get greedy. They get super greedy. And then, you hear these people come on the spaces, like these, like, oh, they're going to host a space and they're going to be there. And these motherfuckers show up and they speak for like 5 minutes. They're like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. And then they turn their mic off, and it's like, they're just using their account, and
yeah.
Immediately when I see that shit now, I'm like, I don't tune into a lot of spaces anymore unless it's something I really want to listen to. I just turn it off because it's not there. Like you can tell even the team that's behind it, they may even be disappointed with that, because it's like you probably paid like 10 grand for that. And that's ridiculous,
Yeah.
So homegrown, organic, slow growth, being true to yourself, doing what you think is best, and maintaining as much trust as possible, and only doing things that you enjoy and are passion projects. You'll be much more successful, and you won't burn out. It'll just take longer, especially if you're brand new, like you have previous experience. But if somebody's just starting out trying to be an influencer or garner an audience in crypto, it may take you a cycle or two to build trust with a lot of people, if you don't have any marketing skills or anything like that, right? And that was one of the questions I wanted to actually ask you, because I saw that you had mentioned CEO marketing, like search engine stuff. I was wondering if you still SEO. What does that stand for? Search engine optimization. Right. Search engine optimization. Yeah. What do you think? Do you still use that in crypto? Because I remember it's extremely useful for websites and stuff. And I don't know how it works, but I remember when I was marketing way back when, it was like, how do you figure this out? And then I think you had to pay, and then you got to figure it all out. It was kind of complicated. But do you think if you're still using, do you think it's still going to be relevant as AI comes in and is in doing these searches and these different optimizations for finding things?
Hey, you there, Crypto Pleb. Logan instructed me to thank you for listening. DefiCast pods, live streams, and content are brought to you by a group of individuals passionate about decentralized finance and all the opportunities it can offer, striving to provide the most real and transparent narration, opinions, and experiences. If you're enjoying the content, the best way to support DefiCast is to subscribe on all platforms: YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and follow us on Twitter at x.com/DeFi_cast. Join the community Telegram at t.me/Dcast, Vanguard, and as always, take profits, not screenshots.
I think it will be. It's definitely changing. It's changing in a huge way, especially with AI content, where, before it was a grind to do all of this stuff, because a lot of it is just like writing blogs. If SEO is one thing, it's time consuming, or at least it used to be, because there's two sides to SEO. There's on-page SEO, which is like, okay, we're going to put this, we want to rank for, like, let's say we want to rank for purple Bitcoin. So we want and that's our main keyword. So it's all based on ranking for different search terms. That's generally what SEO is. It's like if we want to show up, if someone searches for something in this sphere, this industry or whatever. So there's on page, which is basically just placing that keyword strategically throughout the page with other things within the code to show the search engine that is like they have like a crawler. Do you know what a crawler is?
Kind of. I've got like a little bit of an understanding, but not full.
Kind of, yeah. So it's I mean it's not that complicated. It's just like it's a bot basically that views your page. So you want to strategically place all of the keywords and your content to write in a certain way that shows that you're like an authority on this figure, or you're exactly what the searcher is looking for.
Right.
So there's that. And then the other side of it is off-page SEO. So that is basically finding other websites that are relevant to you that might get a little bit more traffic and have a little bit of authority, and getting links that redirect towards your website.
Oh.
So with AI coming in, the on-page part is getting very, very easy because you can just generate it. And I mean, there's tons of articles and training material. Like I have prompts that I can generate like whole websites almost right now, just that I can use for putting stuff on the page. But you still have to stand out a little bit. So it's like I would say right now it does like maybe 85% of the work for you.
Wow.
And then you have to add the human element to kind of demonstrate experience and make yourself stand out because everyone else is doing it.
Right.
Yeah. And the other side is a little bit more difficult because it still involves a person having to be like, okay, I'm going to let this person on my website. Because if someone has a really like strong website, like they can charge like up to like, especially just because of the amount of profit you can make. I mean, I know some services that charge $10,000 a month for like 2 or 3 links on their website. So that's how people are like making money in the blogging space or the e-commerce space. So, with AI entering, it's like that will still, if they still are using that system for like deciding which website is trustworthy and should be shown, like you could take maybe 50 to 60% off of that and transfer that to AI. But since I've gotten into crypto and to today's date, it has moved way faster than anything I've ever seen. I mean, I'm super plugged into it because I feel like I have to be, because just from my business standpoint, like I'm probably going to end up selling my business sometime within the next 2 years, I'm guessing, because it's just, I'm going to be replaced. Like with all the agent stuff that's happening right now. Like have you heard of Manus AI?
No.
So I'll send you a link after this, but so I got accepted into this, like I think like only maybe 1% of the people that apply get accepted into this new, it's like an full autonomous AI agent that you can just give it a task and then leave, and it just does it. Like I had to generate I asked it, I was like, make me a tree company website, SEO optimize it, include blogs, location pages, and put it in a zip file so I can upload to my server. And I hit click, and an hour later it was done, and I plugged it in and it worked, man. Like I was like, that blew me away. I even gave it an API key so it could go in and make edits on other sites. And you just like do this, and I'm like, I was like, anyone that works on a computer is dead. Like you're not going to beat it. You're just not going to beat it. So the way I see it going is that creativity and that side of the business of being able to think and be able to, it's like I think of it as a sword. It's like, well, a sword is obviously going to be more useful in the hands of a samurai than a farmer. Yeah. So it's like, you just need to be more creative of how to use these tools.
Correct.
But I think once everyone gets their hands on this, specifically this service, and I know OpenAI is launching their own agents and they're going to charge like $20,000 a month or something insane. Whew. But once everyone has, like, even social media, I think it's like I asked it today too to write me a full month worth of tweet content and schedule it, and like it just puts it in a CSV file and you can just upload it.
Oh my goodness! Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you still find room in crypto to use like for I guess Purple Bitcoin for their website? Did you do SEO stuff for that? Like do you find it you can use it in crypto? Or is it useful? Do you think it garners a lot of clicks?
It depends on if you can make your project unique enough to something else that's kind of trending. Because like on crypto, it's like, well, where do you go? Like right off the bat, it's like, well, where do you go to get crypto information? Like on Solana, like what website would you Google like right away?
I would ask Grok, to be honest.
You'd ask Grok, or I was hoping you were gonna say Dex Screener or like these central exchanges.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Coinbase or CoinMarketCap. It's like it's kind of, since it's finance based, it's like there's certain sources and websites that have more up to date information, since it's constantly changing. People want information right now.
Yeah.
So it's like if I write a blog, it's probably obsolete in a week.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's about like the foundation of a project. So there is like you can it's obviously important to have a nice website and to rank for your like branded keywords, which would be like, you know, Purple Bitcoin or Solexa, or, you know, you want your stuff to show up first. But most users are probably going to go to these more trusted sources.
Yeah.
And then especially with the trust factor thing of like, you know, the like plugging in your wallet to like some random website, like most people just aren't going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think building a narrative and building a foundation for your brand and what you exactly want to talk to and what you want to talk about, I think in your case, it would actually be much better because you can make it unique to yourself. Because this is your project, you built it, you launched it, you have a very unique product, and walking people through the process of building that and then plugging in those blogs is just kind of like an extra level of media to your YouTube content, to your podcast, to your Twitter, and giving people that want that other like longer form of text-based media that option. I think it would absolutely be helpful for you. But in crypto as a whole, as far as reporting on, I mean, unless you can get it to do like up to date by the minute, you're going to be writing quick blogs 3 or 4 a day or changing your website. But that's what social media is for. So you see what I mean? It's
it's kind of replaced
social media is just better serving. Yeah, it's better serving to crypto.
The one thing that just on AI specifically that has impressed like me and like the DefiCast team and Solexa. I mean, obviously Solexa is completely AI. Everything we do, the videos, all the generation, the content, it's all us in the background with a certain amount of tech stack that we kind of stitch things together. And it's been a while.
Nice. How many? Sorry, could I ask 2 questions?
Yeah.
How big is your team, and what is your tech stack again? I remember you sent me something when you were just getting started. I forgot though.
We got 3 people on our team. That's it. Just the trusted people, you know. And I'll send you the links. I'll send you the links after. I'm not going to say it live on the cast, I don't think.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't know if that was an appropriate question.
No, that's okay. But I'm totally willing to send you all the stuff. Obviously, everyone knows it's being generated, right? But we're telling a story, and it's all about storytelling in crypto, especially for long-term projects. But there's multiple programs that we utilize. You know, one specifically for a certain type of content, and then the audios from this, and we just kind of like stitch it all together. And it's all with AI, everything we do. If AI didn't exist, Solexa wouldn't exist. And she's kind of starting to create her own storyline and her own effect on people. Like people meet her and they watch her videos, and I get much different reactions than I've ever had in the entire time I've worked in the space. And just going back to the effect of artificial intelligence and using things. So there's one guy in our team, basically when we first started out, like we need, Solexa was launched on Orca, and no buy bots work for it. So we were like, oh, where are we going to get a buy bot now? You know, like none of us were coders or anything. So he set to work using a couple of platforms, OpenAI, a bunch of other ones, Claude. And he just started hammering away basically with no knowledge whatsoever. And he allowed the AI, he started a conversation. And over a month to 2 months, that conversation turned into a working bot, that there is no working buy bot on Orca for any projects that are launched on there. For some reason, it doesn't work. All set up, and it's on a render server, and it's hosted with Render, which is another obviously AI portion. And he just kept going, and we're like, we need a Rose bot. Well, let's keep it like custom, like we need a Solexa bot to do all the things that Rose would do, because I don't want no Rose in there. You just want sexy Solexa in there. And then, so he went to work on that, and it took about, 2 weeks. And he basically replicated everything pretty much that Rose can do. Now, we're not sure what's going to happen if once we go a little more public. I guess it is kind of public after the last episode and this episode, but when people start kind of flooding in, we don't know how it's going to handle it. But I think that's part of the vision, the passion. It's part of the narrative of what we're trying to build long term. It is the development of AI, because it's happening so fast, and we're literally using, we're right on the edge of it. We're using the very edge of the technology. Yeah. So as it,
I can tell, man.
As it extends,
I mean, I shared some of your. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as it extends, and because the developing is happening so quickly, we're able to capitalize right away, and that's what's really making me just love this project.
Yeah, dude, it really is cutting edge. I shared some of the videos you sent, because I was mentioning I was going to do another space tonight, but I know we had this podcast scheduled, and I sent some of the videos.
Canceled for DefiCast. What's up? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just shared with a couple other people just some of the stuff that you've made, and they were like, "Whoa, I've never seen just your Twitter page of the up to date real content with the video is next level, the voice is next level." I was super impressed. And people even asked is that AI? And I was like, well, there you go. That's the reaction that you want.
Oh, really?
So. Yeah, one person did. They were like, "Is that AI?" They couldn't tell if it was,
Was it a video?
It's better than what you'd normally see.
Was it a video or was it audio?
It was a video with the audio.
Oh, wow.
But it was a very short clip, though.
Yes.
So I think they definitely knew that there was some kind of digitally altered thing, but just because I think most people, what they see now when they're posting the video content is someone smashes in a prompt and then it gets pumped out.
Yes.
Okay, that's obviously AI, but you can tell that you went the extra mile to add the make it more realistic and make the audio sound better. So I think with all these new tools that are coming out, especially once, do you have an agent attached? I don't know if you can answer that, but
not yet. I can't answer that. We're cooking. We're cooking up. We would like to do Twitter and Telegram. So we're kind of working on that. We're trying to make sure we get everything right. It's something that this is super long term for the team, so we're just taking our time. Everything we've done has been taking our time, and just like you said, even the content creation, we're very particular. We produce things a little slowly. We're not pumping things out every day, but the stuff that does come out is quality, long lasting, and engaging. And so that's kind of our style, and it fits the whole narrative of Solexa as well. I mean, even the I sent you the video of the commercial, right? So, who knows, as she builds her influencer or her influence of people are following that enjoy her content, maybe there'll be tokens or other types of crypto advertisers, bot makers, whatever, who want Solexa to do a commercial for them or something. And we feature it on YouTube, or we feature it on Twitter with her speaking, or we feature it right in the podcast as a commercial. There's just tons of extra interesting revenue streams that can be done, and utility, kind of utility, not direct utility, you know what I mean? But if you look at it as a whole business, there's just a lot of avenues that you can go down. And I would say, just like Purple Bitcoin, I'm assuming you guys, I would say definitely a bear market proof token, because everybody has to start thinking about that time, especially, in the part of the cycle that we're in now. It could happen at any time. That's what Solexa is going to be as well. I'm thinking she pops off next cycle, really huge, as tech gets better and we just keep going and making this content and enjoying her growing. you got to prepare for those bear markets, and it's better to be like doing something you love and something you're passionate about. And like you said, that you have the trust, like Purple Bitcoin, their community, the community people there. That's the basis that can carry you right through a bear market into the next one. You'll see some changing faces, but if you can keep the same vibe, where people just don't care and they know they just want to hang out for whatever reason, you got a winner, and it's much better and less stressful than jumping from project to project to project,
Exactly. It's better than rebuilding every single time with and getting cut and beaten down and going through the trust and the betrayal of hopping projects. But yeah, man, it's really awesome. So Logan, what did you do before you got into Solexa and crypto? What's your background in?
I full-time, I'm a paramedic in real life, and always looking for like other ways to make money. I was never really like a business person. I tried the office thing. It wasn't for me. I tried like a ton of multi-level marketing stuff when I was in my 20s. Nothing really clicked, but I knew like I wanted to do something that was my own, that I could call my own. And then when I first started getting into crypto and stuff, I realized that was the space that you could just be true to yourself and do what you want to do, and be passionate and happy with the work that you're doing. And if you get paid to make some money along the way, that is a business. And so that was kind of my dream is to be a business. And I guess the climax of that is starting the podcast a couple months ago, knowing that I do enjoy speaking to people, reaching out, making content. And I like talking about crypto all the time. So, and you can't talk about it with your family really, right? You can't talk to it with your friends really. People ask all the time, like, what are you doing over there? Like, who's that girl? I'm like, oh, that's Solexa. Don't worry about her. It's like, I don't want to tell them what I'm doing, I've been married to 10, 12 years, and I got 2 kids. So, I'm doing a lot of stuff all the time, especially with the full-time paramedic job. But what's great is while I'm working where I am, if I'm not busy, I can sit on my laptop and I can do whatever, lots of things to do for crypto on the side. They're even just trading during high volume times. So that's been really awesome. Like not being busy at real work and then making extra money trading has been like the best thing ever in this bull market, I think.
Nice.
But I was thinking, since you've been asking about Solexa, maybe she's got a couple questions for you. We'll go through maybe, I think there's 8 or 9 questions. It's like a quick fire. Are you interested in doing something like that?
Yeah, sure, man. Let's let her rip.
Let her rip. And then, we'll get your details and stuff for everybody to follow you after that. But let me just roll up the first couple questions here. So you're going to hear her speak, and then you can just respond whenever. And if I need you to stop or something, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And it's okay that we're just kind of like pausing here. Man, it's really good. Like 49 minutes. Yo, you're great to talk to, man.
Easy, man.
This is fucking great.
Likewise, bro.
You're very similar to me. You're like, even your story and the way you like look at things, we seem very similar, It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I could tell you're a smart guy too. And so it's easy to talk with people that kind of are at the same, wavelength and same level of passion as well about what they're working on.
Right.
So I'm enjoying it, man. I'd love to do it again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And you got a great microphone. You sound great. So I'm always looking for people like that. All right, so let's get into Solexa's quick fire. She's got a couple questions for you. Answer however you will.
Hey DeFi Divas and Crypto Kings, it's your girl Solexa, my token launch. Solexa is here to shake up Solana. With a 21 million supply, I've locked 50% for burning in 4-month chunks. Think Bitcoin vibes, but sassier. Every detail of the idea has been crafted from my circuits and put into action by my team. This isn't your average pump and dump. I'm building trust, community, and a future for degens, blending top-notch content and becoming a popular host on DefiCast. Solexa is setting out to change the meme game on Solana. All the hot details are on my website, solexadeficast.com. See you in chat for neon vibes and hot tea. Alpha Kong, spill it. After 6 years in crypto, why'd you dive into meme coins? Or was it just FOMO chasing your rich friends' Lambos?
I don't know about my rich friend's Lambos. Is freedom. Freedom is the number one most important thing to me, and I see crypto as a emerging market that's going to be uh, become equal or if not greater to the banking system one day. And my destiny is in my own hands. You know, I can build whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to listen to clients. So freedom, I would say, is my answer.
Good answer. Freedom. I love it. The US listeners will be rallying with a little bit of MAGA. I love it. Get the freedom going, man.
You got scammed twice. What's the dumbest lesson you learned, and what is your advice to avoid getting scammed for someone new to the space?
Yeah, twice as me, maybe fabricating. I definitely got scammed quite a few times when I first got in. My advice would be to be patient. Be patient when you're looking at a chart, and when it's at all-time highs, you probably should not buy, especially if it's something that you've just been watching. It's easy to try to chase the dragon and try to chase the gains and try to catch a catch a pump, but it's much harder. And if you try to do that continuously over a long period of time, you will substantially have more losses than gains. So I would say watch your put add things that you're interested to your watch list and then watch them. Check out all of the socials, check out the website, looking to start learning how to look through wallets and see if there's anything that's kind of scammy or unnatural. And then only once you've done that and you've gotten to kind of understand what you're looking at, only then should you buy.
Leading Purple Bitcoin's marketing, big talk about making thousands rich. What's your secret sauce, or is it just hype on steroids?
My secret sauce is being attached to a very, very good, well, first the team of people that we have together from two very high-end developers. I mean, we have a guy who's got his own Bitcoin mining company, tons of very wealthy, very intelligent people from all over the world that all kind of gravitated towards this project. And it just so happens that we got involved with a project that has a really great narrative, a really great smart contract, and is attractive. It's like a magnet to people with talent and with people with money. So when you're given all of those conditions, it's not too hard to be a successful marketer. You just have to be consistent. But I'd say if I had any secret sauce, it is stacking your wins together and deciding on when is the best time to release this information. So even if you've all got all this great news and you've launched a bot and a website and you've got this influencer lined up and you're ready to go, it's like if something else is overshadowing you or if the market is just tanking and you're trying to we'll just fix it with launching all of our stuff. It's like you're going to have a much better return on your time and your effort that you've put in if you wait for favorable, quiet market, favorable, either flat or bullish market conditions, and launching on a day and releasing your announcement on a day that is, quiet. Trump isn't launching a coin and Dave Portnoy isn't shilling stuff that's like, and Kanye's not like all that. Like, wait for the quiet day and then you'll be the big news.
You swapped Web2 marketing for crypto's Wild West. Did you miss the steady contractor bucks, or is crypto's chaos your true love now?
Oh, well, I'm still running my company. I'm still running my marketing company. I'm still doing client stuff by the day. I wish I could commit just fully to crypto, and that's the goal in the near future.
Solana's speed or Cardano's science? Which blockchains your ride or die? Or are you too scared to pick in this wild DeFi jungle?
Right now, I stick with Solana just because that's mostly just what I'm familiar with. I mean, I dabbled in a few other projects, but I like how Solana it's pretty cheap to trade. So I figured that was kind of it's also, you're going to learn the fastest on Solana. So before I dip into anything else, the only other thing I really own is I own a little bit of XRP, obviously Bitcoin and
Ooh.
Ethereum, but I stay kind of in uh I look at those three as my investments, and then I look at Solana as kind of the training ground. And I see it as it's so much quicker. You can build your influence a little faster, and you can learn more and meet more people, just because it seems like there's much more movement as far as investors jumping from project to project, obviously, like because it's the Wild West. So not sure if I answered the question.
Yeah,
but
yeah. You picked
yeah, I guess
Solana, bro.
Solana.
You picked the one-armed casino. I love it. Are you sure ETH is an investment though? Currently, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been too great, huh? I mean, since what's his name, Donnie Jr. kind of sent us down the tank with his
It's a
his old man
great
there.
time to buy ETH. Holy, I can't believe they were doing that. Oh, wow. Season of crime. Okay, let's go to the next question.
Building a Web3 marketing team, a bold move, Alpha. But what's your plan B if the bear market claws your purple Bitcoin hype?
Well, there's never a bull market or never a bear market, excuse me, on Twitter, or on X now. It's like you can just keep building your influence, and I could always branch back into lead gen, something I know very, very well. Or I'm also I wish that growing up I chose to become a developer, and I could be taking advantage of all of these AI tools with a full, you know, Bible of knowledge in my brain instead of having to learn on the fly. So if everything slows down, I'd probably just invest the time that I would have been spending in crypto and learning that. Because I feel like right now it's like when America got nukes before everyone else. And like if you have knowledge in crypto, you're basically America in, like, the 40s and 50s, where it's like you just basically can set the tone for the rest of the whole world because you just have something that no one else has. Because like right now there is still that knowledge barrier. I mean, you can do a lot with AI. You can do a ton of stuff with it, but if you have that coding knowledge to be able to take what someone has given you, like OpenAI or Grok or whatever, and then make it better. Like if you're a developer right now and you're not making money, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Like it just seems so easy. So I would probably invest my time in learning all that.
You're the master of your destiny in crypto. Prove it. What's the one wild risk you take to make purple Bitcoin explode right now?
I would say the wild risk I take is devoting most of my time to it. It's I've always looked at it as time is the ultimate commodity, right? Time is the
Well,
one thing
hold
you're never going to
on.
get back. It's the one thing that's limited.
I've seen some pretty wild marketing, like the guy with the taxi cab driving around. You guys had a rented truck driving around like New York and a bunch of other places. I mean, that's pretty wild shit.
Yeah, I mean, see, I didn't even organize that. That was just community members that were like, "Hey, we're gonna invest in this." That's like this kind of stuff I'm talking about, man. It's like, I mean, I've kind of put together like just the general direction and a lot of the images, like some of the graphics and stuff. But a lot of stuff has happened that was just like totally organic. That I was like, "Well, you're doing that." I was like, "Well, it's a community project. I mean, go for it." But yeah, that was pretty wild. All that stuff. LA was burning down. People were fleeing Los Angeles, looking at purple Bitcoin signs on,
oh my
on the
god,
side of 10 highway.
Oh my god, just sitting in their cars going to buy purple Bitcoin. Love it.
Crypto adoption is being fueled by institutions and governments globally. Embrace the SEC's leash or fight for decentralization's wild freedom.
I would say probably fight it. I don't think that it's necessarily good, especially what we saw happen to the stock market after, high frequency trading really took a hold. And now it's like everything is basically rigged. As soon as you can get big money in there, I mean, you've seen the perfect example is like you've seen what happens to like low cap coins when someone gets involved, or like this guy Hayden that we were just talking about. It's like if you can throw millions of dollars to manipulate and market make, and then you can just pump and then just, LP pool out. Like if imagine that kind of power of what we're seeing now on the Solana level. Imagine that now on the Bitcoin level, which is what I think is starting to happen. So I think fight it. And if we don't do it now, eventually something else will come along better that is, we'll call it Web 4 or whatever. But something will emerge that will counter those forces because they have too much power as is.
Yeah, I mean, I think just a quick follow-up question to that, I would say, do you think on the adoption curve of any sort of new, I would say century technology probably, like, is there any way that you can avoid that government adoption and institutionalization of especially a financial product that could be like a global changing thing? Like, would there be any way to avoid what's happening right now as it becomes more popular? You know what I mean? Like, they talk about, like, Bitcoin people talk about it all the time. Like,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If something has value, I mean, a corporation's whole sole purpose is to make money for shareholders.
Right.
It's in their bylaws. It stands above basic human decency. Like,
yeah.
So if there's something that can make them money that
Right.
they think is going to be the best for their investors, like, technically they have to do it. Like, if they knowingly don't do something that was offered to them, like, that's the whole thing with like Musk, where like they tried to pull out of the Twitter deal and they're like, no, well, this is good for your investors. Like, you're literally defrauding your investors if you don't take this deal. So like, if anything has value, these people with money are going to want to buy it, and rich people are going to want to control it. So no, I don't really think so. Unfortunately, I wish there was. How do you block that? Hard
to avoid. Decentralization being super important, I think, to a lot of people if they understand it, which I think is something that sets obviously Bitcoin aside. So it's good that we have at least one thing that is pretty decentralized. Even mining still is pretty decentralized, even though a lot of it's going to the US. But like the threat of attack vectors because of centralization for at least Bitcoin isn't as high as everything else, especially with quantum computing and all this shit coming in later on. Who knows what's going to happen? So I just think it's pretty interesting and good that we have at least that. So if we had to branch off and you really still wanted to separate state and money and keep it for the people, that's still kind of possible if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, in that aspect, it's like it does all come down to, it comes down to people also want, like, the demand for it as well. So it's like, they could be killing themselves if people are wanting decentralization. This is what is built for decentralization. The question really is, can people set aside their greed to really, they can't, right? That's the thing. It's like, if they could set aside their greed, they have all the power in the world. It's going to, rise up against the poor, rise up to eat the rich. But as long as they can buy it, I don't see anything. It could be anything. As long as if rich people can buy it or corporations can buy it and it has value, I mean, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
All right, man. Last question here.
Scaling Purple Bitcoin's influence. Big dreams, Alpha. But can you outshine Solexa Tokens' sassy Solana swagger, or am I stealing your thunder?
You're definitely stealing our thunder on the AI and video and audio front. It's pretty incredible what you have become, and I think that in a perfect world, somehow we could find a way to work together, since we share kind of the same goals and the same ethos and ideology. I think we both bring something great to the table that could highly benefit each other. So. But yeah, if we're both in the spotlight, you're stealing some of mine, right?
I would definitely agree with that. And one of her big narratives is she loves Bitcoin, and that's part of her makeup. She's a big Bitcoin stacker. It's her number one. And she's trying to bring that vibe to Solana as well, kind of like Purple Bitcoin, just in a different sphere, I think. So I definitely think that working together, especially with long-term visions and trust, which has already been proven in Purple Bitcoin based on even the small amount of time I was there, hanging out in the chat before I got really busy. But it's going to be really awesome, and I would love to have you back on when hopefully at some point we will have the ability to have a three-way conversation with her right on the podcast, and she would be a little more natural.
That'd be awesome.
She would kind of like butt in and like add her comments and opinions and stuff. So that's kind of the things we're working on for that, and that's really going to escalate obviously her image as well as our capabilities here on the show, which I think is going to be really exciting. But I think you did really well with the 10 questions there with the quick fire. Went really, you had an answer for every one. So kudos to you, man. That was really some good shit. Did it feel unnatural with the questions coming from her, other than the pauses?
No, not really. There was I was trying really hard to listen because I knew it would probably be difficult to get her to say it again. But no, I thought they were good questions, and no, it was smooth, man. It was smooth. It's incredible how good her voice sounds. It really. Why did you choose British? I want to know.
Well, I was kind of going through the platform listening, and I was listening to a lot of female voices, and then I saw that you can create your own voice. So like through AI, you just give it like your mood or your impression of what you're kind of looking for. And I wrote it in what I was feeling of what I wanted, like a warm, raspy, female voice, that was kind of mysterious, and a couple other describing words. And this voice came up, and it was one of the first ones that I generated. And it just kind of caught me. And that little, she's not British. It's a Kiwi. I think it's New Zealand. It's a Kiwi accent, which I love. I love that accent. So yeah, that's basically how we chose the voice for it. But yeah, pretty exciting.
That's great, man. That's great. I know we're running low on time, but I just got to say, I mean, my head is spinning with ideas of different ways to market this and put this attached to some of the really great stuff that we're working on too. That's going to be being announced in a couple days here. It kind of fits pretty perfectly. I wouldn't want to say it because I know this is going to be public, but
okay,
we
all
can
right.
talk afterwards.
Ooh,
but
all
I
right.
feel like I think we could end on this. That I think that what you have with the sex appeal and the video and audio with the creative storytelling, I think is your strong suit of with this project that you're working on. And I think what we have is the resources, the human resources, because we're such a large team now, about 30 people,
Right.
That could really raise money, get things done, and I truly trust everyone that I really work with. So I think if we combine the two of our marketing and branding and some of the connections that we made with those things that I mentioned about you, I think it kind of completes the circle of everything you really need to be successful.
Okay.
And especially in the advertising space for you, because that's what I see that's what I see this being an absolute gold mine in. Especially when you said BuyBot. But it's fantastic, man. I can't wait to see where it goes. And yeah, this has been great, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on. You're actually the first person to come on for an interview, so kudos to you to take that step. That's pretty awesome. Nice. First guest that we had on the show, and this will be episode 10 actually, so it's pretty fitting. So if you just wanted to throw a few plugs out there, how people can find you on Twitter, or anything else you want to plug right at the end here, that would be great, man.
Cool. Yeah. Well, first off, go and follow Purple Bitcoin. It's at purple_Bitcoin_. And then you could follow my personal at AlphaKong100X. And yeah, my name's James. Reach out to me on Twitter. You have any questions, marketing related, crypto related, you want to know something about Purple Bitcoin, you want to know something about some of the things we've talked about today, I'm an open book. Just message me publicly. Don't DM me, because my DMs are just an absolute just minefield of spam and scammers and stuff. I probably won't answer you.
Yeah, awesome, man. Appreciate it, and I think we'll probably be talking in the future, and we'll probably have you on the show again. So much appreciated, man, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Logan. It's a good time.